Caitlin Clark wants to be on the team, but who cares? She knows that in all likelihood she didn't deserve it. She's a rookie.
Here's the reality. Tommy's right. It's not just race, though. It's also sexuality. Caitlin Clark is a white heterosexual woman in a black lesbian league, and they resent and are jealous of all of the attention and the shoe deal that she got.
Team USA and the WNBA and all of these folks shouldn't be thinking about marketing and it's about what's going to be unfair to the other ladies, blah, 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 blah. Go after Caitlin Clark. Beat her down as much as you possibly can. Get the best of her. Angel Reese, go out there and win.
So here's the deal with Caitlin Clark getting snubbed from Team USA's women's basketball squad for the 2025 Olympics. And let me tell you, this decision has absolutely exploded into one of the most heated debates in sports right now. We're talking about intense discussions that are happening everywhere, from sports bars to social media, with both hardcore fans and professional analysts completely divided on whether this was the right call or a massive mistake.
This year's Team USA women's basketball roster will include several WNBA stars, but Caitlin Clark is not one of them.
You've got prominent ESPN heavy hitters like Stephen A. Smith, who initially came out swinging with pure indignation. And I mean, he was fired up about this. He straight up called the choice foolish and started questioning the entire commitment to actually expanding women's basketball when you're leaving out the sport's most beloved and recognizable star. Smith wasn't holding back. He was basically saying, how can you claim you want to grow the game and then bench the player who's single-handedly bringing in new fans by the thousands?
You got a max salary at $250,000. You had attendance, although it was trending in the right direction, certainly wasn't where you wanted it to be. And as Shannon pointed out, just the other day, you got a team in the Indiana Fever with their struggling selves, struggling to win a damn game and be relevant. No team in the WNBA was worse other than the winless Washington Mystics.
And here's what Smith really hammered home, and this is crucial to understand. Clark's presence on that Olympic roster wouldn't just improve the team's on-court performance, which it absolutely would. No, we're talking about something way bigger than that. She's the player who attracts people who might not otherwise give women's basketball a second glance. Like, there are casual sports fans who are tuning in specifically because they want to see what all the Caitlin Clark hype is about. And that's exactly the kind of crossover appeal that takes a sport to the next level.
The idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid. And I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. I want all the ladies on this squad to know every single one of y'all are deserving of it.
Seth Greenberg jumped right into this conversation and completely agreed with Smith's take, pointing out something really important about Clark's impact. He emphasized that without Clark bringing her infectious enthusiasm and incredible skill to those Olympic Games, you're basically missing out on showcasing her vital contribution to increasing women's basketball viewership on the world's biggest stage. And when we talk about the Caitlin Clark impact, we're not exaggerating when we say it's been absolutely revolutionary for the entire sport.
You don't sit up there and pass on Caitlin Clark. It was stupid, Team USA. It was a dumb decision. Everybody, there's always somebody that's a sacrificial lamb. I respect the hell out of Rebecca Lobo and what she broke down. I understand it. It was a stupid decision.
The numbers don't lie, and they're honestly staggering when you break them down. The WNBA has assessed this incredible surge in both viewing numbers and actual attendance since Clark made her professional debut. We're not talking about small bumps here. These are massive, measurable increases that have league executives probably doing double takes at the data. Clark's professional team, the Indiana Fever, reported attendance figures that were through the roof compared to previous seasons, with their home games becoming these must-see events that fans are planning their schedules.
You can always tell when it's a home game day for the Fever because downtown Indy gets flooded with the number 22.
Surpassing their total from the previous season within just a few games.
On the street and you're seeing 22 shirts everywhere.
The number that belongs to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
But it gets even more impressive when you look at the league-wide impact, because this isn't just about one team getting a boost. The WNBA's overall attendance has skyrocketed by 40% compared to the previous year, which in professional sports terms is absolutely astronomical growth. And the television numbers, we're talking about certain games pulling in up to 3 million viewers, which are the kind of ratings that make network executives extremely happy and prove that there's this massive, hungry audience for women's basketball when you give them compelling reasons to watch.
I'm really happy I got to see her today. Yeah. It was like a dream come true.
Her star power was on full display against the New York Liberty when Clark made history, not only for herself as a rookie, but for her team when she hit a triple-double, electrifying the crowd.
This attendance and viewership explosion we're seeing isn't happening in isolation either. It's part of this much larger, really exciting movement that's sweeping across women's sports in general. Female athletes are finally getting the recognition, coverage, and fan support they've deserved for decades. And Clark has become this perfect symbol of what's possible when talent meets opportunity and media attention. It's been absolutely incredible to witness, and as huge Iowa fans who have been following her journey for years, we can tell you that seeing her perform live is something else entirely. There's this electric energy in the arena when she's playing that you just can't catch her on television. Even though watching her games on TV had already given us a pretty good idea of how special she is as a player.
Pretty awesome. We're big Iowa fans, so we've been watching her for years, and it was great to see her live.
It was pretty surreal because we were watching TV, I think the game before, and she got really close to it. I think she was like a couple of rebounds away, and I didn't think that I would actually be at the first one, but here we are.
It felt really exciting that my favorite basketball player made her first triple-double.
We've been following her since like last season with Iowa, but seeing her do what she did on the court today, that was actually really amazing.
Now, here's where things get really interesting from an official standpoint, because someone who's actually a member of the Olympic Selection Committee made this pretty significant statement. They said that if the choice were being made today, based on Clark's current level of professional play and her obvious impact on the sport, she would definitely receive much more serious consideration for the roster. Think about what that means. They're essentially admitting that the timing of the original decision might not have fully captured just how dominant and valuable Clark has become.
Right, when as a committee member, you're charged with putting together best team of players, the best talent. Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making the team because she is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer. She's just got a great basketball IQ, and she's a little more seasoned.
This whole situation becomes even more frustrating when you remember that this follows Clark's controversial removal from the 2024 Olympic roster, which was a decision that generated absolutely brutal criticism from supporters, media personalities, and basketball analysts across the board. People were genuinely outraged then, and now it's happening again, which makes it feel like there's this pattern of undervaluing what Clark brings to the table. Stephen A. Smith has been relentless in highlighting Clark's record-breaking scoring accomplishments, and he's made this compelling point that at the exact same stage in their respective careers, Clark's statistical performance actually outperforms those of legendary players like Diana Taurasi, who's widely considered one of the greatest of all time. Smith has been absolutely adamant that Olympic squads should be comprised of the very best athletes available, period.
Obviously, a lot was made of this matchup between yourself and Diana Taurasi. I know she's one of your idols. How big is it for you to get a win here against her today?
I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game. And like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible.
You know what's scary about her game? She can literally just pull up from the free throw line and drain threes like it's nothing, which is the kind of range that completely changes how defenses have to approach every single possession.
You know, she'd just pull up from the free throw line, swish, and could really handle the ball pretty well even at that young age. So you kind of thought to yourself, she needs a little bit more than this recreation league, and it just kind of took off from there.
But Smith's argument goes way beyond just individual statistics and on-court performance. Though those are obviously important parts, he's been making this broader point about marketability and the responsibility to grow the sport. Regardless of whether you think those factors should influence Olympic selections, Smith has put forward this compelling hypothesis that including both Clark and fellow standout Angel Reese on the Olympic roster would have created this absolutely massive impact on women's basketball attendance and television viewership that we've never seen before on an international stage.
Playing off the ball is just as important than having the ball in your hands the whole game.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
No. Please don't tell me you got hurt. No, come on. She's fine. Walk it off.
His reasoning makes a lot of sense when you think about it logically. because he's arguing that these two young superstars have already demonstrated this incredible capacity to draw significantly bigger crowds and generate genuine excitement about the sport among fans who previously might not have been paying attention. We're talking about players who have transcended basketball and become cultural phenomena, which is exactly the kind of star power that Olympic competitions are supposed to showcase to the world.
I just wanted to leave my mark. One day I want to be able to be a USA member. I want to be able to be with that team. So it was an honor to come out there and play against them. Coming off the bench, I just wanted to bring as much energy as I could.
Some people might think you guys would have taken it easy on them late in this game, let them get their confidence back, but absolutely not, right?
I think we got to get them better. Obviously, I think we're really talented, and this league is so talented. So just being able to go up against them, I mean, it's an honor.
Smith's overall position really supports this idea that factors like fan engagement, cultural impact, and the potential to expand the sport's global reach should be given serious priority during the Olympic selection process, not just treated as nice-to-have bonuses. The current situation in women's basketball, especially when you consider Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the Team USA roster, has generated this massive ongoing debate about attendance patterns and viewership trends. That's revealing some pretty concerning underlying issues about how the sport is being managed and promoted.
We're not allowed anymore to show the #1 draft pick in the WNBA draft as opposed to Angel Reese, a woman who can't run. I mean, next time you watch Angel Reese play, yes, she can play. She's a good player, but she can't run. But we're not allowed to show the #1 pick in the draft, the most dynamic player, including everybody. Why? Well, because it's racist.
Here's some context that makes this whole situation even more frustrating. The U.S. women's basketball team was this absolute powerhouse about 12 years ago, consistently drawing large enthusiastic crowds and generating strong television ratings that proved there was definitely an audience for elite women's basketball. But what's happened since then is really disappointing because subsequent Olympic Games and major international competitions have seen this steady downturn in viewer interest, with recent contests drawing significantly smaller audiences than what the sport was achieving during its previous peak periods. The fact that Clark has this enormous, almost unprecedented appeal as a player has led to many passionate fans voicing their serious displeasure with the Olympic selection, and even threatening to boycott games entirely if she's not included on the roster.
Alan Amos is a big fan of Caitlin Clark carrying a big sign.
Because she knows how to hoop.
This is going to be history. It's like what I told her, that's pretty epic that we get to watch her, you know, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a star.
The preseason game is more...
Stephen A. Smith has been absolutely relentless in addressing this attendance and engagement problem. And his central argument is that elite athletes like Clark and Angel Reese bring this dual value that's impossible to replicate. Not only do they excel at the highest levels of basketball competition, demonstrating skills and basketball IQ that rival seasoned veterans, but they also possess this rare ability to draw paying spectators who might not otherwise purchase tickets or tune in to watch games. Smith has made this really effective comparison to how NBA fans react when their favorite superstar misses a game due to injury or rest. You get genuinely angry supporters who feel like they've been cheated out of the experience they paid to see.
You can't teach that. I'm going to go out and do whatever it takes to win, and every single night, my teammates rely on my energy. So being able to continue the energy, even if we're down, even if we're up, that's what I do.
I'm sure there was an opportunity or two for me to probably attempt another shot there quite at the end, but I trust my teammates. Obviously, 13 assists, that means my teammates scored off of 13 of my passes. Like, it's a really great number. So I'm going to give them the ball every time and give them an opportunity to score. I believe in them.
The actual attendance numbers for recent women's basketball games have been genuinely concerning for anyone who cares about the sport's long-term health and growth. When you look at disappointing turnout figures for games like the recent contest against Japan, where the arena had way too many empty seats for what should have been an exciting international matchup, there's been widespread speculation among analysts and fans that having marquee players like Clark and Reese on the squad could have dramatically increased both attendance and television viewership for these important games.
I just think that she's elevating the profile of women's sports in a way that most women should deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate. She's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal shooter. I call her the Steph Curry of women's basketball. I've been calling her that since last year.
What we're dealing with here is that Caitlin Clark's recent exclusion from the Team USA Olympic roster has triggered one of the most significant and passionate discussions in contemporary women's basketball. And honestly, it's a conversation that goes way deeper than just arguing about who should or shouldn't make the team. This whole situation serves as this powerful reminder that sports are about so much more than just final scores, roster announcements, or highlight reels that go viral on social media. We're talking about the genuine passion, the emotional investment, The intense reactions, and the sky-high expectations that millions of dedicated fans bring with them every single day when they choose to support and follow their favorite athletes and teams. When a rising star's name is conspicuously absent from something as prestigious as the final Olympic roster list, especially when that player's mere presence alone has proven it can fill entire arenas, dramatically raise national television rating, and generate serious international attention and media coverage, it inevitably becomes this major talking point that dominates sports conversations for weeks. This is particularly true when we're dealing with a player whose impact on the game extends far beyond just putting up impressive statistics, someone whose presence can fundamentally change the entire energy and atmosphere surrounding the sport. Fans, television pundits, former players, and media figures immediately jumped headfirst into this heated debate, offering their diverse opinions on whether this controversial decision was made purely based on traditional basketball strategy considerations like roster balance and veteran experience, or if the selection committee completely ignored the absolutely unparalleled momentum and excitement that Clark has single-handedly brought to women's basketball over the past few years. But here's something that everyone in this debate seemed to agree on. Regardless of which side they were arguing from, Caitlin Clark represents something much bigger than just another talented rookie trying to make her mark in professional basketball. She has genuinely become the recognizable face of this massive, transformative movement that has ushered in what many consider to be a completely new and exciting era for women's basketball as a whole. From her absolutely record-breaking collegiate career, where she rewrote the NCAA record book, to her immediate and dramatic impact in the WNBA, where she's exceeded even the most optimistic expectations, she has continuously demonstrated this exceptional shooting range that extends well beyond the three-point line, excellent court vision and passing ability that creates opportunities for teammates, tremendous composure under pressure in crucial moments, and a basketball IQ that seems well beyond her years of experience. The transformation has been incredible to witness. Indiana Fever home games have suddenly transformed into what look and feel like sold-out playoff events, with passionate supporters wearing number 22 jerseys, waving colorful signs, chanting her name throughout the game, and showing up at the arena hours before tip-off just to watch warm-ups and get a glimpse of her practicing her signature deep three-pointer. For any rookie in professional sports, that kind of genuine enthusiasm and fan devotion is really uncommon. But it's particularly remarkable in a league that has spent years and significant resources trying to expand its fan base and generate mainstream media attention. Millions of basketball fans and casual sports viewers tune in specifically to watch Clark because of her incredible triple-double performances, her ability to take over games in pivotal situations, and those instantly viral highlights that get shared across social media platforms and sports shows within minutes of happening. Even though she's relatively young and new to the professional level, numerous experienced commentators and former players have argued convincingly that her measurable impact on the league's prominence and cultural relevance simply cannot and should not be ignored when making decisions about representing the country in international competition. Multiple analysts have pointed out that if the Olympic selection process had been conducted today, with all the evidence of her professional success and cultural impact, she would almost certainly be viewed significantly differently by the selection committee, because she is currently competing and performing at a level that is genuinely comparable to many seasoned veterans who have been in the league for multiple years. However, it's important to understand that choosing an Olympic squad is this incredibly complex process that requires careful consideration of numerous factors that go beyond just individual talent and popularity, including team chemistry and how players work together, international competition experience, and how athletes handle pressure on the world's biggest stage, defensive versatility and the ability to guard multiple positions, positional balance to ensure the roster makes strategic sense, and honoring previous commitments and relationships that have been built over years of international play. As a result of all these competing considerations, these Olympic selection decisions are inevitably challenging and occasionally generate significant controversy, even when the committee is trying to make the best possible choices for the team's success. Nevertheless, throughout all the external noise and heated debate surrounding her Olympic exclusion, the one thing that has consistently stood out and impressed everyone paying attention has been Caitlin Clark's public response and how she's handled this disappointing situation. She has managed everything with remarkable poise, genuine maturity and impressive composure that would be admirable from a veteran player, let alone someone so early in their professional career. She didn't express any public negativity, visible annoyance, or blame toward the selection committee or other players who made the roster instead. Rather than getting caught up in the controversy or letting it become a distraction, she has continued to concentrate on honing her individual skill, encouraging and supporting her Indiana Fever teammates, and professionally representing her team and the league in every public appearance and interview. That kind of response demonstrates the mindset of a true champion, someone who recognizes that temporary obstacles and disappointments are not the conclusion of their story, but rather the beginning of an even greater chapter that's still being written. This entire Olympic selection controversy has also brought significant attention to something really important that extends beyond just one player's situation. Women's basketball's absolutely explosive growth in popularity and cultural relevance over the past few years. Honestly, very few people in the sports industry could have predicted or anticipated the sport's rapid rise in mainstream popularity, television ratings, and social media engagement, much of which can be directly attributed to dynamic superstars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, who have captured the imagination of sports fans across demographic lines. These aren't just talented athletes, they've become genuine celebrities, whose games people specifically plan to attend. Tickets are being purchased at premium prices just to see them play in person. Television ratings spike dramatically when they're featured in games, with networks scheduling around their appearances. Their individual game highlights consistently go viral on social media platforms, generating millions of views and creating new fans who might never have watched women's basketball before. Beyond their impact on basketball specifically, they have begun influencing broader culture, motivating and inspiring the next generation of young female athletes, and demonstrating the incredible commercial and cultural potential of women's sports when they receive proper attention, marketing support, and media coverage. Millions of passionate spectators were genuinely disappointed and frustrated by Clark's absence from the Olympic roster. But interestingly, that disappointment has actually increased overall interest and engagement in the sport rather than diminishing it. When fans have this strong of an emotional investment, when they genuinely care enough to be upset, to argue passionately, to show up to game, to engage in heated social media debates, those reactions clearly demonstrate that women's basketball is positioned to enter what could be considered a golden age of popularity and success, with Clark serving as the central figure and primary catalyst for this transformation. Although missing out on this particular Olympic opportunity might initially seem like a significant setback or missed opportunity in her career trajectory, it really wasn't and won't be the pivotal or defining moment that determines her ultimate legacy in the sport. If anything, this temporary exclusion will likely serve as motivation that spurs her continued development, sharpens her competitive focus, and inspires her to work even harder to reach even greater heights of performance and achievement. Every truly great athlete in sports history has experienced at least one significant moment when the sports world questions their readiness, overlooks their contributions, or postpones their recognition for various reasons. These challenging moments and temporary setbacks frequently serve as the crucial catalyst and driving force behind their eventual breakthrough success and legendary career. Caitlin Clark possesses all the essential qualities and circumstances that indicate she is absolutely destined for significant international and Olympic moments in the future. She has demonstrated the exceptional natural talent, the champion's mindset and mental toughness, the star power and charisma, and has already built the kind of passionate worldwide fan base that will enable her to achieve even more impressive success on basketball's biggest stages. Her future in the sport is incredibly bright and full of potential, and there is an excellent chance that she will not only earn a spot on future Olympic rosters, but will likely emerge as one of the team's key players, primary leader, and most recognizable stars in the next Olympic cycle and beyond. What we are currently witnessing and experiencing with this Olympic controversy is really just the opening chapter of a much bigger, more impressive story that's still being written, rather than any kind of meaningful setback or career-defining disappointment. The upcoming chapters of Caitlin Clark's professional career will almost certainly feature historic individual performances, championship runs with her professional team, and memorable accomplishments that will significantly influence and shape the future direction of women's sports for years to come. This current moment of temporary disappointment is simply one important part of that larger journey toward greatness. Sometimes in life and sports, one door closes specifically to prepare you and position you for a far more significant and impactful opportunity that lies ahead in the future. This Olympic exclusion situation feels exactly like that kind of moment. A powerful beginning that's cleverly disguising itself as a brief temporary disappointment. Caitlin Clark's career and impact on women's basketball is far from finished or complete. She's not going to slow down, back down, or be deterred by this setback. The entire sports world is keeping a close, fascinated eye on her as she continues preparing and working to reach even greater heights of success, recognition, and achievement in the years ahead.